So as I talked about in the previous video, let's start the cuts. So let's describe our volume through the frontal view, because that's the most accurate. You know, the side view and the top view are just not, they don't show as much information as we would need. So we are drawing now the frontal view, and then we will draw the cuts and the different volumes in axonometric, in an isometric axonometric. So we get used to this type of thinking. Okay, so this is our first volume. This is going to be, sorry, the first, the frontal view. Yeah, and yeah, the initial concept will more or less stay the same. There's going to be some variation, mostly because you just can't help it. That's the way things work. You know, you can't sketch something and it to be 100% accurate, because then freehand drawing and technical drawing will be the same thing, which can't really happen. So the freehand sketches we did are useful. They will give us an initial idea, but now when we are drawing everything to scale and to plan, okay, everything is going to be a bit different. You'll see the idea itself is going to adapt to the reality of this drawing. Okay, so let's not forget the left hand side edge is curved, so it's kind of like a half cylinder, and then we've got a cut through the right hand side. That's the default volume. So okay, that's the first cut there with a perpendicular on the other side, and we are in exactly how I sketched for the first volume, for the first concept. Exactly the same thinking. We are applying it here in the frontal view, and yeah, maybe we would benefit from a perpendicular there, because truth be told, that volume is too large. If you adapt it accurately, it's too large. It's not going to look as good as we could make it look. So that changes kind of everything. Okay, have that perpendicular there, then the half cylinder becomes longer and everything changes. We could stick to thirds, which is going to be better actually. Okay, good. So you got that, the other part there. I mean, you know what, I'm going to use 1 to 5 to name the volumes. Then we will start drawing them in axonometric. Right, this is more to clear things up in your own mind. Okay, if you clear things up, then everything is going to be a lot better. So these are the volumes. Okay, forgot to note them 1 to 5, but that's going to happen later. So let's start drawing them one by one. Okay, don't be intimidated by the you know, weird cuts, because most of these volumes are going to be perpendicular. Okay, so we got that first part there. Yeah, drawing each of the volumes now. Most of these cuts are perpendicular, so most of these weird ellipses are going to be genuine ellipses, which in axonometric tend to look like they always did, you know, like half a circle axonometric. Okay, so let's go. I'm jumping from one volume to the other. You can be more disciplined, but you know, it depends. I'd like to get things out of the way, draw these simple ones, and then focus on the ones which I know are going to be a bit of a hassle. This is going to be 2 centimeters there. This is going to be the triangular prism, let's say. Yeah, we connect that there and there. Everything clicks together. I'm not even going to draw the cast shadows for these volumes. They're just a means to an end. Again, to help us understand the thinking behind all of this. Okay. Good thing we got a vertical dominant, which isn't too massive compared to the other volumes. Again, if you remember from previous lessons, I stated that whenever you are drawing a composition, an architectural composition, you need to have volumes which kind of have the same general volume, have the same general mass. They don't, let's say the vertical dominant isn't 100 times or 20 times larger than the smallest volume in your composition. Okay, they kind of are in the same category of mass. Okay, and yeah, we achieved these. We achieved this through the cuts we made in our large volume, and now we are detailing all the curves. Let's not forget that the half cylinder spans to a certain degree, so all these weird cuts are going to be half ellipses, but then they will go into a triangular prism shape, so they will most likely turn into simple straight edges. Okay, good. Yeah, a couple of miniature mistakes there, but hopefully you can understand all of this. Again, it's much more about thinking than about drawing. One of the roles of architectural drawing is to be subservient to architectural design. So we can just freestyle stuff, but sometimes it's really good to freestyle a bit, then make that plausible. That's a very beautiful process in itself. To generate a weird idea and then make it real. Put it to scale, put it so it literally is anchored in real life and doable, achievable. Okay, so this is what we are doing here. We are drawing the 5 volumes, and then after this we will go and start constructing the triple projection. And the main idea is going to be, let's say, inspired by how it's going to look in a planar view, frontal view, and side view. Then the axonometric is going to be very easy to draw, and then the constructed perspective, and that's it. The end. Okay, full assignment done. And by the way, I'm talking about what's next. I'm going to basically hatch everything in black and white, and then we'll add some color for the perspective, just to give it a bit more of an artistic feel, and then that's it. Okay, so now it's time to construct all those ellipses. Don't forget, most of them are parallel to the horizontal plane because of the way the cuts are done, perpendicular and parallel. So most of them are going to be half circles, so we will use a compass to construct them, and the other ones are going to be constructed by by constructing the 5 points which generate a half ellipse, and then by freehand just connecting those 5 points, and boom, we're done. Okay, good. Let's see. You have kind of some interesting volumes here. Yeah. All good. So right now I'm constructing the basic outline, and I'm going to thicken these lines. Obviously, add some 9/8 just to make everything easy to read. Right, good. Yeah, because of the I have to be honest with you. The light source, I have a light source in the top left part, and that's kind of burning through the top left corner. It's kind of overexposed. It looks a bit, the construction lines aren't that clear. I'll correct that in future videos. Just notice it right now. Okay, so I'm constructing the half ellipses. Okay, just to get a bit more of the thing going, the curvature. Right, this is very predictable stuff. It's 100% logical. Okay, we need to get it over with so we can focus on the creative parts. I'm just curious how this composition is going to look in a triple projection, because it could look very, very interesting. Because it's going to have a different thought pattern. It could look a lot more anchored in real life, and a lot more, different, let's say, than our previous work. And again, don't forget, it's lesson number 4 in perspective, in constructed perspective. So we are mixing constructed perspective with composition and with everything else we've learned till now, with graphics and so on. Don't forget we got a horizontal page layout. This is a huge B2 sheet, so it's going to have a lot of information. Okay, these sheets, they got a lot of stuff, you know, a triple projection there, a schematic there, an axonometric and constructed perspective there. These look very good. Okay, these have a very good graphics style, we could say, just because they have a lot of information on them. Okay, these are the ellipses. There are going to be some custom ellipses, as I said previously, because of the way I've basically drawn I've done the cuts. Okay, that's a custom ellipse over there, the top part over there. Yeah, again, really good stuff. The normal ellipses, you draw them with a compass, like I'm doing right now. You remember, there's two arches, a large one, which has got a center off of the ellipse. There's a small one, which you get the center by connecting the middle of the left hand side, in this case the top left edge, with the bottom point of our virtual square, let's say. Right, so this is the cylinder, the half cylinder shape, which you can see is really not a half cylinder because it's got a bit of a prism next to it. Okay, yeah, I need to construct that weird ellipse over there. You get that by drawing the perpendicular shapes, so the perpendicular points on the horizontal, and then by using that we can basically jump to drawing the points which would help us construct our half ellipse. Okay, this is going to be a weird ellipse because it's custom, so we need to get all those heights. So every time you have a weird volume, you just copy the heights and the lengths, and you get those points. And after the points are sorted, you can literally draw the rectangle in which our ellipse fits, and then boom, diagonals, and we are done. Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. I'm drawing the rectangle in which this weird scooped in half cylinder is going to fit, and then we are done. Okay, we just draw the that's a parallel there. Obviously all the lines are parallel, and this is going to be the inset scooped ellipse. Okay, parallels everywhere. Okay, because it's an axonometrical, parallel lines are parallel, although these are going to be weird volumes. Right, okay, let's go. So this is all 100% logical. The back lines are going to be dashed. Yeah, I'm just thickening the vertical lines all in a go right now. Then I'll do the same for the horizontals and the other ones. Okay, dashed there. Okay, so you get that clarity. And after we understand these volumes properly, then we can jump to the triple projection, which is really good news. Okay, so for the triple projection, we've got this this thing. Okay, we're starting with the plan, and then we are building up, going in the frontal view and then the side view. Okay, so this is the first volume. Okay, looks interesting. And then we're building up the second volume. Okay, and then on and on it goes. Right, this is very good. Yeah. Right, and we are going to use these volumes as building blocks for decomposition. One quick note, if you remember the initial sketch, the triple projection on your PDF has that A unit. For the cuts, frontal view, and this axonometric, I used 1 centimeter for the unit. For the triple projection, we are going to use 2 centimeters, just to make our drawing sufficiently large so we can add a good amount of information. Right, and then for the axonometric, I'm going to use 2 centimeters as well. I thought about using 3 centimeters, but then there wouldn't be enough space for our constructed perspective. Sometimes it's a good idea to draw weird axonometrics which are 100% custom. They're customized. You know, they don't have any. They have many lines which are parallel to the axes. But hey, that's for a future assignment. So you see, there's kind of a difference there. They look kind of different. So let's start by drawing the OX axis and then jumping into the planar view. After that, we'll see how the frontal view goes. So don't forget to always wash your triangles, right? So they don't get filled with smudged with graphite, which will add smudging to your page, your design sheet. So always clean and keep your triangles in a tidy condition. And we are going to draw the vertical dominant, rotated at I'd say 60 degrees. Okay, so it's rotated at a 60 degrees angle, and I'm doing that mainly because you don't want all these volumes to be parallel to the axes. You want them to be custom. I have a bit of a pronunciation problem. If they're custom, they stand out. Okay, they're not vanilla. Obviously, we are going to use these axes to create a bit of order in our composition, but we won't draw everything parallel. Imagine how it's going to look in perspective when all the volumes are parallel in perspective, with the edges being parallel or perpendicular. They all have the same 2 perspective points, which is boring. Okay, so let's add the other volumes as well, so we can start composing an interesting image. Yeah, all of this is going to look very interesting in perspective. Yeah, so I'm sketching right now a bit, just to figure out how these volumes are going to look in 3D. There's always a problem of 3D vision. Descriptive geometry by itself, if you study it, if you do the whole descriptive geometry assignments, and you understand the assignments, it's not enough just to draw them. You need to make them a part of the way you see the world. If that happens, then you are going to get better at understanding all these things. Doors that were closed to you are going to open up. But each and every time you are going to have a slight 3D vision problem. Things are going to get crazy. Okay, like here, I don't know how this is going to look. I have no idea. It's all because of the process, and off the top of my head, I don't want to think of what I applied in previous compositions. I just want this to have this fresh air of a new thing. This is very important. So that's why I'm testing things out now. So I did the vertical dominant, which is the prism with a inset scooped out cylinder. Then I'm putting the other volume parallel to the axes, and then I'm drawing the half cylinder thing tangent on the inclined weird volume. Okay, I'm doing that mainly because it's interesting. It's going to create an interesting effect, right? A bit of an equilibrium, right? I'm going to inset that a bit from the second volume I drew. And then let's see how things work, because I particularly like the idea of a foreground being the cheese slice volume, let's say, sitting on top of some other volume. I like that. Okay, so let's see how we are going to adapt that to real life, to real volumes that are real. Okay, so right now I'm adding all these lines and drawing the second and third volumes. Sorry, the fourth and fifth volume. The triangular prism, I'll put that on the left hand side, so it complements the composition, and then I'll use that cheese slice, let's say, as a foreground. I'll make it sit on one side, so it's kind of different than what I initially planned, but it's going to look very good all the same. Obviously this is all going to make a lot more sense when we are going to thicken the construction lines, and more so when we are going to construct the cast shadows, because that's one of the surprises in this lesson. We are going to construct proper cast shadows for the volumes. Okay, so in triple projection you are going to have the cast shadows mainly in the planar view, just to make these volumes stand out, but we'll talk about that when we get there, basically. So I'm starting the composition now. It's time to thicken some of the lines. It's time to solve some of the visibility problems, you know, with dashed lines in the for the volumes which are not in front. Okay, and I'm going to go for the side view and for the cast shadows, and then jump into the axonometric, which is really interesting. It's going to look very interesting because it's something that we never drew before. We never had this approach before. Okay, let's go.